Hello, let's talk about the upcoming Nord 2, 2X and Nord 1 editor. That one is Nord 3. It's not ready yet, but it's coming. But we're going to focus on Nord editor today. Okay, so I've got live session here, which is pretty much standard when you open it up. And what we're going to do is we need to set up the Nord, and then we need to get some audio tracks and MIDI tracks, and obviously add the instrument for the rack mount unit and the Nord 1 keyboard. So that's the basic Nord 2 rack. And what you need to do first is make sure that you are on a performance mode, because the program mode is not going to work with the editor properly, including sync and whatnot. And then on the Nord 1, I've done all the settings already, so that's all good to go. But in Nord 2, we go Shift and MIDI channel. You can see individual MIDI channels when the LED is flashing, and when you click again you can see G dot a number, so make sure that number is 16 in order to make it work. And obviously you need to make sure that program changes and control changes are enabled as well. But let's add the editor and see what it looks like. There we go. So quite a lot has changed from the current version what is available on our site. We have an all new UI, which you can freely resize, and we have different functions, including morphing has been completely reworked, and also the side panel here where you can choose a different slots and tweak your programs as you go. What else? We have library control on program change, which means that whenever you trigger a program change on your controller or from the hardware, it will send the data from the editor library into your Nord buffer memory. We are always using buffer memories because it's safe, and you don't need to write anything to your hardware. Next time you open up your session and you have the MIDI interface available what you used previously, all of the data will be dumped automatically into the hardware. And yeah, so this is Nord 2 skin, and then we have a Nord 2X, and this is for Nord 2X users. Obviously there is some changes in Nord 2 and 2X, but mainly the biggest one is Pele mode. That is not available on 2X. It's only available on 2 and 1. So we might be able to squeeze that in for the edit functions. So maybe, just maybe, it might require you to do some manual settings from your Nord in order to get it properly working. But let's dig in. So what we're going to do first is we're going to make sure that the global channel is 16 on the editor as well, so that's all good. You can see program change, control data and ARP, MIDI out, they are all grayed out, and tuning as well. That's because those parameters are read only, so you can't change them from the editor. Same applies to local control switch. So if you have a local off and you want to turn it on, you have to do it from the hardware. Otherwise that's pretty straightforward. We have a trigger mapping if you want to do trigger mapping on envelopes, or if you want to do pedal settings, you can do those here. We have show keyboard function, which brings up this text saying all MIDI data forced to active slot. That means whatever MIDI comes into the editor from your external keyboard is being routed into the selected slot. So you can see that icon is moving along when we choose a different slot. Obviously, allow slot change, that's on by default. You can turn it off if you don't like it, but it's a lot easier to kind of work around with the editor when the hardware is following the editor. And then we have card option here. This is for Nord 1 and Nord 2 users, so you can have more banks available for requests and writing options. Let's have a look at the morphing update. So previously we had a different layer where you could draw or move the knobs to assign the morphing values, but this time all you got to do is hold down Shift and drag a knob, and you can see that circle comes indicating the morphing value. Same applies to all of the knobs. That's a big one, and obviously you can use all of these buttons to toggle between different values, but you can also choose values by clicking on the icon like so. Filter, that's got the special mode included, so all LEDs on will activate the special filter. And then we have section locks, which is pretty much what we had before, and also section menus. This is new one. So if you have a crate oscillator set up or a crate LFO going on, you can save that setting and use it on a different project sometime later on. And then we have this dice, which is basically doing randomizing for this particular section. So you can randomize small parts, or you can do randomize from the bottom bar, and that will randomize all of the program values. On the advanced MIDI settings page, you can define the amount of randomizer being applied per parameter. And on a DAW environment, you might want to have control changes on depending on what your setup is like. These are pretty much the default values to make it work. Okay, so yeah, library control on program change makes a little difference on the pop-up menus, so we can see the program names from the librarian instead of showing just raw numbers, single program. And same applies to the bank menu. So if library control is on, we can choose a different bank from the librarian, and the data will be sent from there. Alright, let's take a look at the new librarian, which is a lot streamlined. You can choose a different slot and then double click or use the keyboard arrow keys to choose different programs. We can view performances. The performance mode here and the performance view, they are linked, so that's just for users who want to get quick access to browsing through different performances. I always load up a empty plugin and then I stay on a program mode and I assign different programs for different slots and go from there. But everyone has their own way, and that's pretty much how the editor has been designed. What else is new? Program names are a lot longer now. You can do multi-selection with Shift and click, so you can select multiple items. Let's say there are crate batches from Alan and I would like to copy those in here, so I can just copy the items and then go paste in this bank if I so choose to do. We also have an option to set up categories, and you can then later on browse the categories with this button right here. Also search included if you want to do search for a specific program. That's going to be adapted to show results from performance mode as well, and percussion, so you can load percussion kits into your Nord. Editing program the percussions is a bit tedious, so we are looking how to get that all organized and make it simple. Then we have a new show quick edit, so you have all of the essential parameters right on the librarian view. So if you choose a preset here, all of the values will update and you can quickly tweak and see if that sound is something that fancies you. Alright, so let's begin by setting up MIDI interfaces. So we have a Nord rack and Nord rack in here as well. And now all of the data from Nord has been pulled into the editor. So let's have a listen what we've got here. Okay, we need to enable MIDI. Right, MIDI is coming through, but I need to mute this one from the UAD console first. Right, okay. And now we need to add audio tracks. So let's do that quickly. We have two stereo outputs, so we're gonna do this is A and B, and then enable monitoring. Right, and then in the Nord we have output mode for slot C and D routed same as A and B, so we're going to choose C and D. Now these slots are being routed to different ports. And obviously you can hear that MIDI is still playing on the slot A even though we selected slot C. That's because the show keyboard option is off. So now all of the MIDI is coming in slot C. Let's move this away and find out the inputs. It helps if there's some gain. Okay. There we go. Funny sounds. Okay, that's all good. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much it. So you can choose different parts and then load programs, and they will be sent to your node. And now if you want to save the project, you can save it, and then when you open up the project, all of this data is being dumped into your hardware. Alright, let's talk about automation. With automation, we need to go to the instrument track, choose unfold device parameters, and then click configure. Now after that's done, if we move a knob, we can learn it, and it's now on a live, so we can do all of the automation on live from that point on. Okay, so this is Node 2 and 2X setup. So let's add another one and use the Node 1 for this instance. Like I said, I have the settings all done. The UI reflects the old Node theme, and if you have OS 2.7, then you don't need to worry about this. But if you have an earlier OS, you might want to choose that one because it changes how the LFOs and filters behave. So keep that in mind. And now if we choose Node lead for MIDI, it's going to request all the data, and we can obviously see that there is morphing assigned to certain parameters. There is only stereo output, so we don't have multi-out available on this one. Let's get that enabled and add audio track and see where it's coming. Okay, so this is now coming from Node 1. Oh my. Right, so Node 1, 2 and 2X. That's how this works. Let's enable keyboard to hear the different parts or slots. Alright, I think that's it about the Node editors. Let's talk about how to add sample accurate MIDI sequencing. So you want to add MIDI tracks to your project and assign them to your hardware. So this should be, yeah, that's Node 1, channel 1, so it goes to slot A. If I do another one, say channel 2, yeah, that's playing different slots now. And then if we choose one more, and this is slot C, then we can create another MIDI track for Node lead. Let's see if we have. MIDI, that one. there we go. Now if you do sequencing, you should definitely do all of the sequencing on the MIDI tracks and use the editor tracks for automation, and that's obviously going to recall your data when you open up your project next time. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for now. So there's still some things to fix and improve on this one, but it's pretty close to be ready, and yeah, all good. All right, so if you have any other questions, or if you want to know something, how to do the setup, etc., just drop me a message and I'll try to get it answered ASAP. You can reach us best via Discord, so Discord link is on our website, and yeah, take it from there. Alright, cheers, bye.